It is the birthplace of both Marlon Brando and Malcolm X, Omaha, Nebraska, which surprised the nation last week for another reason. A school battle that combines reading, writing, and radical politics. Arthel Neville reports.
Omaha, Nebraska, nestled in Middle America, the heart of the nation, and now the center of controversy. All because of 2 letters and 4 numbers, LB 1024. LB 1024 is a school bill swiftly signed into law last week by the Nebraska legislature. It'll divide Omaha's public schools into 3 districts. Critics have been up in arms, saying this plan will send the city back decades, all the way to the age of segregation.
I have a problem with segregating the school districts. We've got a black district, we've got a Mexican-American Hispanic district, and we've got a white district. That's a concept that Omaha can't live with.
Nebraska State Senator Gwen Howard is a very vocal critic of the new school scenario. She worries about the bill's consequences from the state capitol to the classroom.
When this bill came through, teachers told me that those children were crying on the sidewalk, not knowing where they'd be going.
The issue, according to Senator Howard, is reminiscent of the 1950s when blacks were taught in their own neighborhoods under a philosophy of, quote, separate but equal schools. Do you believe there's such a thing as separate but equal?
Do I believe it? I don't believe that at all. I think we're setting ourselves up for an illusion that we're going to be real disappointed with if we support separate but equal.
Not so, says Senator Ernie Chambers, the state's sole African-American legislator who helped shape the bill.
By this talk of segregation being brought in as a red herring, it takes attention away from the fact that these schools are failing.
Senator Chambers says the problem isn't the 3 R's, it's the 2 C's.
Cash and control, and that's the only reason the public school system and others are upset about it. We're not changing the schools the child goes to. What we're changing is the administration and governance of the districts.
Chambers has a strong answer for those who say the plan is taking their schools in reverse.
If it's already segregated, we cannot segregate it. That's like saying I can make water wetter. Impossible.
Supporters of the so-called resegregation bill say this is actually not about race. And in fact, the only color that matters is green. Opponents, on the other hand, say if this is about economics, the plan is rich with potential for even greater problems. Does this promote a social divide?
I would agree with that. When we start educating children separately according to their color, what's the long-range impact of that going to be?
Senator Chambers stands by his argument that equal education still comes down to who controls the dollars.
Deep throats that follow the money, what we say is give us the money and we will show how to properly spend it. For one thing, we won't have an overpaid, bloated bureaucracy. All of the money is going to go for the right purpose.
Arthel joins me here in the studio. You know, I don't like anything that enhances segregation, even if it's voluntary. I know that kids self-segregate in the cafeteria. I know that, you know, fraternities can be segregated by their, you know, their voluntary associations, but I don't like it.
However, at first blush, it's more inflammatory than it appears. Because really, if you think about it, Omaha actually reflects the breakup or makeup of many school districts across the country already. So they're not separating these kids. They're already living in their neighborhood schools. What they're simply doing is trying to separate the money in hopes of actually improving the education for the less fortunate.
Reverse decades of very difficult progress, I think. I mean, I know it doesn't go into effect in 2008 anymore, but thank you very much, Arthel. Still